Hi guys, welcome back. I'm back from holiday. I'm feeling all refreshed. Luckily, I managed to stay more in touch with you whilst I was away, so we didn't have such a big gap. But oh my me, only Harry could sink his battleship, his own battleship, in such an unbelievable way. He starts getting a little bit of positive coverage. Oh, look, it's the old Harry. Oh, look, Harry's back having fun. I even saw people that follow me on social media going, oh, he's so much happier away from Meghan. People were beginning to slip into what I guess him and what his team, the whole reason why they did this, they want to gaslight people. They want people to forget everything that he's done over the last nearly 7 years now. And of course, Harry gives another interview a few days after seeing the king finally, and he has blown apart his entire narrative of pushing for a reconciliation. I honestly believe that Harry's PR team in Montecito, after putting so much work into try and rehabilitate his image, are now crying under their desks, drinking wine and eating ice cream, probably wondering which one of them is going to get the sack next, because you know nothing is ever Harry or Meghan's fault. Now, before I get on to the reason why I believe that Harry has pulled the rug out from underneath a lot of these royal reporters and commentators that are hell-bent on trying to convince the world that William is somehow the evil brother in all of this and he should be the one forgiving Harry, I want to talk about the meeting that the king had with his son. Now, to start this off, I'm very aware that there are lots of other YouTubers, and some of them are my friends as well, that have different theories on this. But it would be a boring world if we all thought the same. So this is just my theory. I don't think the king meeting with Harry was stupid. I do not think that the king is deliberately trying to undermine Prince William any more than he is trying to hurt his eldest son, his beautiful and wonderful daughter-in-law, and of course, the fact that they are the future of the monarchy. I do not believe for 1 second that Charles and Camilla and Buckingham Palace are in some sort of secret rivalry with Kensington Palace and they're all trying to outdo each other. I believe that the king believes in the monarchy, he believes in the future of the royal family, he believes in a lot of the projects and all the incredible things that the Prince and Princess of Wales are doing. I do not believe that he is suddenly now less angry with Harry than he is William, as some people have tried to push. Now, I get it. I really do get it. I do understand people's frustration thinking even if Charles has done this as another chess move towards Harry, it's still then opened up the speculation from the mainstream media and it allows Harry and Meghan to push whichever narrative that they want. But when I look at what actually unfolded and how the king handled it, I believe it was actually a very clever move. So hear me out. First of all, Harry started back in May. The media had been speculating that Harry had been cut off by the royal family. I believe this, and I know lots of other content creators did as well. That's why Harry and Meghan were getting more desperate. They were getting friends to release the fact that Meghan was using her title. They were trying to poke the bear to get a reaction because they need the royal family to talk to them because then it reinstates their royal relevancy. So when he was really angry and upset and throwing a tantrum over his security court case, losing it, he then said that I don't know how long my father has left to live. I want a reconciliation with my family. They won't speak to me. So then, of course, because they had confirmation from the horse's mouth, the mainstream media started their campaigns, how cruel and nasty it was, how the king is the head of the Church of England. He might want to remember that occasionally, and he should show forgiveness. Where's his Christian values? And it was building up exactly what Harry and Meghan wanted to happen. So the king has slotted Harry in. And when I say slotted, Harry was fitted in between other meetings being held at Clarence House. Now, the king could have had a private meeting with his son. Think about it. There's lots of other royal residences, but more importantly, there are lots of friends of the king where they've got their own estates. They could have gone absolutely anywhere in helicopters and nobody would have been the wiser. But in doing so, Harry could have made up whatever spin he wanted to because he would have leaked that he'd been to see his father. No doubt the paparazzi would have caught a photograph of Harry Harry going in, and then they could run with it however they wanted to. By holding it at Clarence's house and slotting it in between business meetings, Harry also had to use the tradesman entrance. This wasn't a private family access point, again, because members of the royal family can walk around all of these houses practically unseen, because they have got their own entrances where the public obviously aren't in view because they live at these places for a start. Harry was told to use the front door. This enabled the public to know when Harry arrived and, more importantly, when Harry left. Harry can't spin it, can he? Everybody could see that Harry was in there for less than an hour, and that's from car to back into the car. And as we all saw, Harry had a face like a slapped ass, so it didn't go well. What the king did was hold a small, brief and short perfunctory meeting which ticked the box that he's seen his son, that he's listened to whatever it is that his son wants to say, and he's sent him on his merry way. But seriously, I cannot believe that people think that Charles could have continued to completely ignore Harry, with Harry trying to drum up that narrative and the mainstream media fueling it. This shuts them down, it shuts Harry down, and it shuts him up. He had an opportunity to meet with his father and he's blown it already. Not only have we had leaks that Harry's favourite dessert was served at this tea that was put on in less than 50 minutes. I think he was in and out in 55 minutes. And by the time he went through the gates, probably security, I mean, if Charles was sensible, probably a good old fashioned pat down to make sure that he didn't have microphones on him. Because let's be real, it might be his youngest son, but he's a snake in the grass. You couldn't trust him to give you the weather report. So no, I do not believe that the king would risk his relationship with his eldest son. He's quite clearly close with his grandchildren. He adores the Princess of Wales. Their bond, I'd imagine, has only been forged even stronger with both of them going through their own cancer journeys. I don't know why people are so quick to believe, after everything Harry said about the love of Charles's life, Queen Camilla, that he would be so willing to open his arms up and let his dear boy come right back on in. The king held a very short, a very public sort of meeting that was short. As I said, it was completely perfunctory. This wasn't even held somewhere personal. This was done like a quick tick box meeting. Next! And that to me is very, very telling of the state of their relationship, and Harry can try and peddle it how he wants. Well, if anybody's conscience is clear, Prince William's certainly should be. I don't think he's losing any sleep at night for making the decision a long time ago to never give his younger brother another chance, because Harry has proved yet again that he simply cannot be trusted. After leaving the UK, Harry has gone to Ukraine as part of his role within the Invictus Games, and he went to meet with Olga Rudneva, who is the CEO of Superhuman's Trauma Center, who helps soldiers injured in the war with prosthetic limbs and their rehabilitation. Now, it was just by pure chance, pure fluke, that on the very same day, Yvette Cooper, our latest Foreign Secretary, was going that day to meet with Zelensky. Oh, how Harry's PR team must have rejoiced. I mean, Harry himself even said, "I had to check with my wife and the British government that I could go." He said that to make himself sound important. He said that to make it look like that he is there on an official capacity. Harry doesn't represent anybody other than the Invictus Games. He doesn't represent the UK. He doesn't represent the Crown. There is not some sort of big conspiracy going on where Harry is now still secretly working for the royal family. Do you think Prince William would allow that? No, absolutely not. Harry was just quite clearly trying to make himself sound important, but he was not invited by the Ukrainian government. He was invited by the charity Superhumans, who he visited back in April earlier this year, right before he then went on to attack his dear pa on the BBC interview when he didn't get his own way again over his security. So as for this interview, it was with The Guardian, a media outlet I'd like to point out, who have advocated for the abolition of the monarchy. And Harry, a major first line of bullshit he came out with was he doesn't like posing for photographs, for staged photographs. He actually said that. This is a man that has set up so many paparazzi shots, he's now officially as bad as his wife. Plus, how can he be saying that as he's photographed walking around at Maidan Square in Kyiv? It's an incredibly emotional memorial site for all of the soldiers that have been killed. And of course, it's the perfect backdrop for rehabilitating Harry's image. So of course, this trip was then dominated in the headlines by Harry stating that his conscience is clear. Gone with the Harry has regrets, Harry has hopes to reset his relationship with his family, which were the headlines before he met the king. Now it was Harry has absolutely no regrets. That tells me, and it should tell you guys, that that meeting with dear old Pa didn't go the way he wanted because he's quickly changed his tune. So the main takeaways from Harry's interview with The Guardian, one of them is to do with his father's health again, causing speculation, yet again, clearly learning nothing, or it's a deliberate tactic that he used in that BBC interview when he said, I don't know how long my father has left. Well, this time he said, over the coming year, the focus must really be on my dad. It implies that perhaps the king's health is not what it should be, and this next year should be really important. So yet again, another douchebag move by Harry. Another line which makes me think he's completely delusional. I feel a lot of support from the British public, even now when I feel like I have been destroyed by certain members of the British press. I personally think the majority of the British public are still very, very disgusted with his treatment of his grandparents and his family, who spent his entire life looking after him, cleaning up after his mess. The fact that all these years later, despite the Queen and Philip dying, and he still shows no remorse, I think will just continue to disgust the public. Harry can blame the British press for ruining his reputation, but I think it's more obvious to most of us that Harry has got no one to blame but himself. Now this one, guys, if you've got a hot drink in your hand, I suggest that you put it down so you don't injure yourself or a loved one stood nearby. So this is an actual quote from the interview. On Meghan, telling Harry to tell the truth. She told him about telling the truth is the most effective way to live. She said, just stick to the truth. It is the thing I always fall back on, always. And if you think like that, who would be stupid enough to lie? It takes up too much time and effort. Says the pathological liar herself, that as soon as she's got a microphone in her hand, she lies about anything and everything, from stories of her childhood to buying ice cream for the children. I mean, she is honestly certifiable with the amount of lies that she does over tiny things and big things. The fact that Harry and Meghan have been caught out in so many lies across multiple interviews, even in court cases. And Harry's saying truth above all else is what matters. Harry, the truth crusader who wouldn't know the truth if it slapped him round the face. These two lie so frequently, I don't think they know what reality is anymore. Further proved by this next doozy of a statement. When asked about the things that he has said publicly, the book, meaning Spare, it was a series of corrections to stories already out there. It needed to be corrected. You losing your virginity in a pub, what was it, a field or a car park, which then dragged the poor girl that also was involved. It then got her into the newspapers as well. There were lots of things in Spare that were not correct in stories. Most of us didn't know about it, and I'm pretty certain that most of us wish we could go back to not knowing about Harry's oscillating blue frosted penis. I don't believe I aired my dirty laundry in public. It was a difficult message, but I did it in the best way possible. My conscience is clear. It's not about revenge, it's about accountability. You cannot have reconciliation without truth. Clearly, Harry doesn't understand what it means to air your dirty laundry in public. to discuss or reveal unpleasant or embarrassing private matters relating to a family member or someone else that is close to you publicly, which, as we know, Harry did it all time and time again, not just publicly, globally, for a paycheck. As someone said, he didn't just air his dirty laundry, he pinned the underwear to a global clothesline for everybody to gawk at. But here we are, straight from the horse's mouth. He has no regrets. He doesn't regret the hurt that he caused his grandmother when he refused to come to his very own grandfather's memorial. He doesn't regret the attacks of racism. Not only is he unapologetic, taking no accountability for his actions, he clearly still has no self-awareness and hasn't had a single moment of self-reflection on the pain, the damage, and the hurt that he caused everyone in his family. The grandparents in their final months on this earth, his father, his brother, his stepmother, his former friends, their families, even the matron from his old school he was cruel about in the book. And as I said, even the girl that he slept with. He's got no regrets. His conscience is clear because he clearly doesn't have one. Jiminy Cricket has left the building. And it proves that Prince William choosing to steer clear of his treacherous younger brother is the best decision that he could make for his wife and for his children. And I do think that this has also, I hope, pulled the rug out from all of these silly royal reporters that are constantly trying to push for Prince William to show forgiveness. How can he even begin to forgive his younger brother if his younger brother can see nothing wrong in any of the things that he's done? He's beyond redemption at this point. It shows Harry for the person that he has become. His own words, from the prince I was born to the man I have become. And that man is the very reason why Prince William will sleep soundly tonight for choosing not to give his younger brother another thought. As the saying goes, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. So, on that note, I hope it does stop the mainstream media trying to peddle all the bullshit stories about how Harry should be welcomed with open arms by the UK public, by the royal family. Everybody should let bygones be bygones. If he's not even a teeny tiny bit sorry for the pain and the hurt that he has caused so many, it means that he is more than willing to do it again because he sees nothing wrong in his actions. And that alone is enough of a reason and a justifiable reason to keep him at arm's length. So guys, tell me your thoughts on this and I will be back with you very soon because we have got a very important state visit. See you soon. Take care for now. Bye.